So that's why we were asking for hard copies. Excuse me. Now, since there are quite a number of documents, I was suggesting that we can bind group works together such that we have the group report and then the individual reports may be bound together and then sent over. But it's not really like a must. If somebody wants to send theirs directly, it would still be okay, but please indicate where the group you belong to. I think right now, I don't know whether Mwalimu is ready. I will want to log off a little bit so that you can continue with the class. And then later, towards the end, maybe I can come and we can talk more. So thank you, especially for those who are very far away and maybe you're in difficult situations for logging in. I think we've gone on together very well. And I hope that by the end of this week, we shall have done something that we can be proud of. So over to you, Madam President.
Thank you, Dr. We hope you'll be back to answer a few questions. I see people raising their hands, but because you have given us direction, we follow that. We will catch up with you after the lesson.
Okay, thank you. Signing off temporarily.
Thank you. The discussion question was, just check, it is there. I think it was put there last night. Rose, can they check? The discussion question for module 2 was put. Thank you. Peter Arucho says, group 2 not yet submitted. I don't understand.
Call request. If you accept it, you'll be charged for the call at normal call rates. To continue, press 1 to accept.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon to you.
Madam President.
Yes, who is speaking kindly so that I can address you well? I can't see. Yes.
I'm Zuku Stephen.
Yes.
And I'm a faculty member of Kenya School of Government. I wanted to see whether I can put on my video, so then probably I'm visible to the rest of the team. I don't know whether you're able to see me from where you are.
No. Are you using Miriam Wangeshi something?
Yes, possibly.
Yeah, because we are seeing Miriam Wangeshi.
That's very strange because I thought I'm using my platform, but that's also somebody who is known to me.
Okay.
She has hacked it.
Yeah.
She has hacked your phone.
Yes.
Now I don't know.
Now you understand why I'm saying who is speaking to us.
No, am I visible now, ladies and gentlemen?
No. This Jacqueline and lesson keep. Now we can see you now. Jacqueline and lesson, please. Oh, thank you. Yes, we can see you now.
You can see me now. Very good. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you can see me now. Yeah. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Sorry, because I think we have delayed a bit. Dr. Mirara is
good afternoon.
And I'm Thuku Stephen, a faculty member of Kenya School of Government. Ideally, we are supposed to be with Mr. Okoyo, who said that he is going to join us later. And I think we are supposed to have module. Okay, sometimes I forget these modules. It could be module 5 or something like that, where we have reading change. We also have Kasha and change management. And we also have knowledge management. And lastly is about, so we have knowledge management, and which is the other one? Madam President?
Yes, Maureen.
Yeah, we have reading change, we have Kasha and change management. We also have knowledge management. There's another one that I'm forgetting that's also part of this module. Are we there?
Yes, we are here.
Yes. We just confirm.
The principles of our learning organization.
Yes, learning organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
The two modules, learning organization and knowledge management, will be handled by Bwana Okoyo. He will join us later. I don't know whether you had finished with your in-house issues, Madam President.
No, we'll catch up with them later with Dr. Mirara.
Yes. So we are good to move. How many are we in this program?
We are 115.
How many have logged in currently?
More than a half, 68 of us.
More, okay, around more than half. Okay, so that is good enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I am in an office. I'm actually not at our campus in Kabete. I'm in Embu. I requested a colleague to give me his office so that I am able to do my session from here. And because I'm in a borrowed office, I don't know what can happen in the course of the session. So I would request kindly you allow me to do my presentation without the camera on. Is that okay? But at least I wanted everybody to see my face so that at least you know who is speaking. Is that agreed?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, I think, like I've said, this module has 4 areas, of which case I think we've already talked about that. I will be focusing more on 2 areas that are also related in one way or the other. The first one is reading change. But as we be discussing that, we should also think about Kasha and how Kasha affect the way us leaders achieve our goals or objectives in our organization. Of course, that is all within the broader area of reading change. And I want to believe that majority of us here in this class must have had an experience or must have had some discussions before on issues to do with managing change. However, at the moment, we want to focus more on reading change because at the moment I'm talking to Strategic Leadership Development Program faculty members, participants, who, of course, their main interest is leadership. And therefore, even if I use the word leadership and change, as if they are the same, one and the same thing, I would want at the very, very beginning to make it clear there's quite some difference between leadership and change management. I think that should be clear to all of us that when you're talking about leadership and when you're talking about management, these are two different things. And actually, one of the biggest difference between leadership and management is the way we handle change. So one way of seeing whether we are still at that level of management, as opposed to being leaders, is the way we manage change. Remember, we talk of 4 critical skills that are very, very critical for us as leaders. And I think all of them are areas that are being handled at this particular level. One of it is how we manage change. The other one is how we manage risks. They are also related, how we manage or how we lead change. The third one is how we lead teams, team leadership. And I think, yeah, so leading change, leading teams. The other one is leading team, leading change, and also reading and managing risks within organizations. We say those are critical skills that every leader should utilize in leadership or when you're in a leadership position. So ideally, and that's what I was talking about, there's a big difference between managing change and leading change. And that again goes back to the basic definition when you are defining who is a manager, who is a leader. And if you remember well, because I think the first thing that you did in this program is how you transit from being a manager to being a leader. And at one time, most likely you may have discussed that managers seems to prefer a status quo. That is to mean that in most cases, they would opt or prefer to fight for the status quo, ensure that things are running as they have always been. And that is not really not a good thing at the management level, because remember, managers are the ones who manage policies. So once policies have been developed, then it is at the management level where those policies are implemented. So there is that tendency to focus on ensuring that if you have policies, then policies are being implemented as proposed within the policy document. Then managers also being also at a level where they are also managing, they are also supervisors to a certain extent. So they tend to become more conservative, ensure that things are running as required. So they are focused so much on rules, the rules that have been set, and how those rules can be followed to the letter. So sometimes they seem to be a bit more conservative in their approach. But on the other hand, we have leaders. And leaders, remember, are at the top of the organization. And therefore, they're the ones who are supposed to provide the vision. They are the ones who are supposed to, or we can say they are the vision carriers of the organization. And at that position, then, they should be able to forecast and see where the organization is heading into. And because of the rapidity of our environment, the changing situations, remember at the moment, and could be somebody may have mentioned that, we are at a period where the common denominator is that we have what we call the VUCA situation, VUCA, that our environment, one, is volatile. The environment is volatile, V, volatile. Our environment is uncertain. There is a lot of uncertainty. Our environment is complex. C stands for complexity. Yeah. So we are in that VUCA, A standing for ambiguity. There's a lot of things that are not very clear. So the environment becomes very complex. So at the leadership level, then, it becomes very critical for leaders to navigate that kind of a situation. And therefore, they have no choice but to continuously reform their organization so that they are able to cope with that complex nature of our organization. And it is for that reason then that we emphasize the critical skill of leadership is that of, sorry? There's somebody.
We are okay. Angalia WhatsApp,
Madam President, are you the one talking?
No, Judith Okech is the one who is speaking. Judith, please mute.
Judith, I don't know, but yeah, Judith. Okay, thank you. So yeah, so that is the complex nature of where we are. And on the other hand, we are managing. Judith, kindly switch off your mic if possible. I think it is still not, yeah, kindly. Thank you. Yeah, so we are in that kind of situation. And because of that situation, then as leaders, then we must see how we are going to lead change. On the other hand, we all know that the nature of human being is that dislikes change. Human beings are more contented with the status quo. And every time change is introduced in an organization, there is the tendency to resist that change. And I know at the other lower level, you must have, of course, talked about resistance to change and how that resistance can be managed. So ideally, and I think that was one of the questions that I raised in the forum, that I know when I came in, I think the president was talking about the kind of questions that had been posted. Though I have not been able to log in and see the kind of response that have been put, I'll still be able to do that later. Was then in that kind of a situation, which then is the best approach? And I was asking, which is then the best approach to lead change within our organization? Yeah. And we have seen situations where, like currently, even in our country, there are many proposed changes. There are reforms in almost every sector. If you go to education, there are changes that are being introduced. We are talking about competence-based curriculum or education. If you go to health, there's a whole reform in the way we manage our health insurance. We have also introduced many changes within the Ministry of Housing. So there are so many reforms that are taking place in our country today. And you will see sometimes the struggle that could be has been there in all of these situations. And I think then the question is it that we are not using, as leaders probably, is it that we are not using the best approach as far as addressing these reforms are concerned? One of the things that I would want could be to refer to you is probably to reflect on the leadership process itself. And one of the things that you see is that the change process itself has three critical stages. The first stage is what we call the end. That change always starts with the end. And the ending stage is because you are already used to a certain way of doing things, and that is what you have to end with. But as you proceed with still the reforms or changes, then you go to what we call the neutral zone. And the neutral zone is what we call the transition. And the transition is moving from the old to the new. And then the end stage within the change process again is the beginning, which is actually the end stage. In each of these stages, you will find that as leaders will be dealing with complexities that comes with each and every stage. But I think one of the scholars in change management, William Bridges, says that the biggest challenge that we face in managing or leading change is actually not managing the beginning or the end, but actually that in between, which is actually the transition, how we move from the end and how we go to the beginning. I think I would want to probably just allow us to reflect on, first of all, could be to take you back. Why is it that we are in that kind of complex situations? What are some of the factors that as leaders need to be aware of that are actually initiating a change process? What is it? What are these factors? And I think for now, you will realize that when you look at what we call the change agent, these are factors that spearhead or initiate change process. You will see that in all areas, in all fields, may it be the demographic, like when you talk about issues of social, cultural factors, when you talk of change agents, like when you talk about technology, when you talk of change agents, like when you talk about the political situations, environmental factors, like when you talk about things like climate change, you will see that currently in the world where we are at the moment, all these factors are very, very, very active. The technology is changing every now and then. Politics, people are demanding for more services. Economically, there is increase in population, which is also not supported by an equal change in economic status. And that's why we'll be talking about gross domestic product is increasing for the country. Every year we are registering like 5% GDP growth. But is it also reflecting when you look at whether the poverty is changing and all those kind of things? So the biggest question is then, how as leaders then do we manage change? And I like referring to Peter Cotter, because Peter Cotter talks about the approach towards which as leaders we can ensure that we manage or read our change process very clearly. And he talks about 8 stages that must be there. And the first stage, he says, for you as a leader to manage change very well, effectively or efficiently, then you must establish a sense of agency. For establishing a sense of agency here, means that as a leader, through the way you communicate, through the way you guide or provide direction, it must always be very clear to the people that it is not possible to continue with the status quo. And that is reminding those that you lead that there are situations, circumstances that will make, that have to make us as an organization to change from what we are doing to better things. Like I've already highlighted the change agent. But then he says, equally, you also need to create what we call a guiding coalition. A guiding coalition means that you cannot initiate a change as an individual leader without having a team. That is the team that understands where the organization is. That is the team that understands where you want to take the organization to. It is a team that also resonates very well with your vision of change. And that then becomes the team that you are going to use in order to spearhead your change process. He also says that as a leader, then you must develop a clear vision and a strategy. That does mean people need to know where you are taking them to. One of the major causes of resistance in change is the inability of the people who are being led to see where you are taking them. If that vision is not very clear and it doesn't come out very well, then you'll expect a lot of resistance. So you need to develop a clear vision and a strategy, so that and a clear vision means that then people know exactly where you are taking them, and they even know the approach or the approach that you are going to use. Then he also says that you must communicate the change vision. Communication, that everybody is aware, everybody knows where the issues that are there, and even how you intend to overcome them. And everybody is aware of the compass, is aware of where you are moving, where you are going, and the approach you are going to use, and how you are going to handle all the challenges that are likely to be there. Then he says, for you as a leader, then you also need to empower and develop your employees. Because the change process is not a one-man show. It is something that must be shared by all of you in that organization. And as strategic leaders, then, it means that you must come up with an approach that enables you to empower. And empowerment here means making sure that those people who you are leading have what it requires. They have the skills, they have the ability, they have the knowledge that is required, so that they are empowered. Again, because when they feel like they are not adequate to go through that journey process, the change journey process, then you'll also expect a bit of some resistance. So empowerment and also empowering and developing employees becomes very, very critical. He also says that you don't have to wait until you have achieved so much so that you can actually celebrate. He proposes that there should be short-term wins. To mean that every step towards what you are taking your people to then requires to be celebrated. And he says that is very, very important, because when people see they are progressing, then they become more empowered and they become more motivated even to proceed. Because during a change process, and especially during the transition, you are likely to get a bit of some frustrations from the employees who probably feel like things are not going in the right direction. He also says the seventh stage is that you must consolidate gains for more change. Consolidating means that you don't just change without going back. So you move, yes, in the positive directions, but then also ensure that the change that you've already initiated are also protected. Sometimes as leaders, we continue doing the change, but not knowing that probably some of the things that have already been done are not actually being maintained. And therefore, you are changing other things, but some of the changes that I have already done are already not being able to be consolidated. And therefore, then you are not making substantial reforms within the change process. And then he says the last one is that you must always anchor new approaches to change process. So you change, and as you change, make sure that you also adopt approaches that can match with the change that you've been able to introduce. That is to mean then that you must also, as you continue reforming or changing systems or changing goals or changing objectives, you must also continuously change your approaches, coming up with new approaches, so that then you can be able to move. So that is Peter Cotter. Of course, there are many other scholars who have tried to look at this issue of change process, but I think Kota's model is quite informative, trying to look at the issues and the challenges that are there. And actually, could be I'll also share with you what he says that may happen if some of these things that have been proposed are not there. But could be just to get a reflection from you as a class. Now that as a country we are going through the change process and in many areas, what do you think is lacking and making our change process become a bit difficult in most of the ministries or in most of the state corporations that are expected to deliver the change process? Could be you can have a few comments before I can move to the next discussion. Any comment? And I would even want to hear from those ministries that are currently involved in a lot of reforms and in terms of some of the challenges that they are going through in leading change. Any contribution? I think there's somebody who is asking me to mention something on the individual assignment. I think that may be best done by the course coordinator, Dr. Mirala, because he's the one who probably have the more information on that. Any contribution? You can just give your contribution, or you can raise up your hand, then I can see. I don't know why I'm not able to see whether you're seeing a few of us here. Any contribution? I really don't like just pointing somebody. I would want to hear from members who volunteer. Madam President.
Yes, Maureen.
Do we have participants in this class? How come nobody is ready to?
I can see 90 of them. Huh?
Yes, but I'm not seeing anybody raising up a hand to give a contribution or anything. What are that? My question was not clear. I'm asking, what are some of the current challenges that we face as leaders in the reform process, and more so the reference, giving a reference to what is happening in Kenya currently?
Maybe I can bring up one.
Maybe okay, President, you can mention something. Yeah.
I think the people are not raising their hands because the topic is a bit sensitive. Most of us working in the public sector, most of us working in the public sector know that reforms are very difficult, and there's a lot of resistance to reforms most of the time. So, like my experience has been that we get these reforms moving. We start the reform maybe to change, to make some changes. Let me use the EGP as an example. EGP is expected to streamline the procurement process. In effect, bring online tendering, bring online the issues of evaluation, bring online the contracting process, and even the payment processes. That will essentially make the procurement process very transparent. But in outside, we see a lot of resistance in the process. But of course, we understand why. Because the procurement process is where the rubber meets the road, where the tendering process meets the money. So, and there are a lot of political interest around that field. So essentially, changes in any environment are not good. They are not good, basically, to the people who are doing the reform, and also not good to the people of political interest. So essentially, that's why I was saying maybe the topic is a bit sensitive. That is
David,
my experience. Yes.
Is that David speaking?
Yes, David Kiprop.
Yes, David. Yeah, I agree with you, David. But remember, this is in a class setup, and we are not saying that anybody is wrong or right, but we are just putting it within a learning kind of a situation. And I can get you clear, David, that when you talk about change and leading change, one of the major, and it's actually one of the biggest block or challenge that you have to deal with is how you also ensure that the interest, because people are fighting for their own interest, isn't it? And as long as they believe that their interests are being compromised, they will come very strongly against what you are proposing as a reform. Therefore, I get that clearly, David, and those are some of the challenges that you'll have to go through. Because anytime you introduce a change, a reform process, especially, expect there to be quite a resistance because of sometimes people within the organizations feeling like their interests are going to be compromised. And therefore, eventually, that becomes a major source of resistance. Yeah, another comment. I could see a number of hands. Can you just give your comment? 2, 3, then we can go to the next one. Then I can be able to respond. Madam President, you had also said you wanted to say something. You can move fast.
Yes. Especially on communication, the way we do our communication on these reforms, you may find the people passing the information contradicting each other. So that causes mistrust to people. So there is need to improve communication when it comes to reforms and changes, even in any organization. When the communication is not well done, when it is not accurate, clear, then people resist it.
Very good. And I think that's why I was saying communication as a leader must be, you must ensure that there is good communication. Everybody is informed of what the change process is. If that is lacking, then it becomes a major problem. One more comment.
I can give an example with this class of ours.
Yes.
When we started in the middle, there are so many things that have come up. We are being told we are the transitional class. There are changes here. Things have been told to change. There was no communication. Actually, this class, most people have found themselves with anxiety, not knowing what next. Our plans were completely messed up with because of communication issues. Yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I remember, I think I had, there's another presentation I was having. Was it on reading teams? And at that time, I remember Dr. Milana also talking about the change in your program for the experiential learning the last 2 weeks. And I could see it really made people a bit more confused. And people are saying, no, we could have, this could have come early for us so that we also plan with all that in mind. Yeah, so, and I know it has affected you in one way or the other. However, again, as leaders, we are also training you that sometimes you have to deal with things as they come. But sometimes I agree with you that they need to be communicated clearly so that everybody feels comfortable, because that is the role of the leadership. Because in that transition we are talking about is that deep. And the role of the leader is to ensure that then the people who are involved then do not face a lot of difficulties in that transition. And that's why they talk about in leadership and leadership. Then as a leader, you are supposed to do like a bridge so that then the people don't have to go down the cliff and then up, which sometimes can be very, very difficult for them. One more comment, and giving reference to what is happening. Why is there a big issue in health? Probably have people from health. We have people from the Ministry of Education, the higher education. I know there has been a lot of changes that have been proposed. What could be some of the other major causes of the challenges? One more comment. You can just proceed. One more comment.
Chair Mwalimu.
Yes.
Yes, I just also wanted to contribute to this discussion and say that, of course, the fear of the unknown at times makes people not embrace that reform or that change.
Yes.
Of course, part of the team members might be comfortable with the status quo.
Yes.
And in the process you begin now bring up some kind of reform or change, then that will not go well with them. And what now happens is for them not to support the process, but have a go slow, or of course not play their part with regards to the reform process. So I think that fear of the unknown makes people not support the reform or not be part of leading that change. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Who was speaking? Sorry, I have a laptop that I don't know. I'm not able to. Is it?
This is Peter Nalanda.
Okay, Peter. Thank you, Peter, for your contribution. JM, and then the last one, JM, and then we go to something else. JM.
Thank you. My name is Joyce.
Joyce, yes.
Yes, and on health, the challenge we have had is with regard to the payment by SHA. So you find we make claims, and those claims, like the level 2, level 3 hospitals, have never been paid since February. Some of them have never been paid since the program started way back in October. And yet they are incurring expenses every day. They are supposed to treat patients for free. So then it becomes very difficult. How do we continue to run a program where we are supposed to provide services for free, and yet there's no compensation for those services? Again,
Joyce, just stop there, and then I'm able to get it from the film. As a problem, what would you say that is? What is it that has caused that, from your point of view?
Probably then there was not well done estimation of the costs and allocation of the resources required.
So resources. So you can attribute that to probably not having well planned the resources.
Yes, not having well planned the resources, and also not having well understood the system, how it operated previously. Before you make a change, what is the system and how is this change going to impact the existing system? Because then you cannot put us to a worse situation than we were before. Like for example, we have the issues of mothers, and we have had deliveries at home, and the push has been moving mothers to deliver at the hospitals. Now, SHA comes and tells us that you can only have deliveries at level 4 and level 5. Those are usually very distant facilities. We have close by facilities, the dispensaries and the health centers, where a mother, instead of delivering at home, you move to the dispensary or you move to the health facility. That facility can call an ambulance if need be, and you are moved to the other facility. So you find then now we are beginning to retreat backwards. We see more home deliveries than hospital deliveries, because then when you move to the health center, that health center will not be compensated for that delivery, because then it is not expected that deliveries happen there. So we don't have many level 4s in these counties, and so that kind of somebody had not properly studied what is in place. And when we make this change, when we make this policy decision, how is it going to impact the existing framework. I submit.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, Joyce. And I think, sorry, Alice, I will not probably because of time, could be allow me just to conclude on this issue. I agree entirely with Joyce that the way we plan the system, the way we plan for our resources, and many other things as leaders are very, very critical. Let me just give you a conclusion with by what Peter Cotter says. He says, for change process to be successful, he clearly says there must be 5 things. Five things, or we can call them factors, or we can call them attributes, is that must be there. And he says one of them is that there must be a clear vision and objective. Clear vision and objective. That is the goal that we want to achieve. It must be very clear, and everybody must see it and must know that this is what we want to achieve by the end of it all. And as leaders, it's our role and responsibility to make it very clear to the people. He says another thing that must be there to make a change process succeed is that the people who are implementing the change process must be competent. It means they must have the skill. Remember, we talked about building the competencies, the skills of the leaders, that the people changing or making the change process must be competent. They must have the right skills and what it requires to do that change. The third one, he says that people must be motivated. To mean that people see more benefits coming out of the change process than the status quo. And then that enables them to become motivated. And could be that has also to come with whether they know they have the right information and many other things. People must be motivated to change. Then he says the other very important attribute for a successful change process is that there must be resources. Resources must be adequately provided to ensure a smooth flow in the change process. Then he says the last one is that there must be a clear plan, an action plan. That action plan must be very clear. It is known from stage 0 to the last stage how the change shall happen. A clear action plan, so the activities that are going to be performed, who will perform, at what time, and many of those things. So he says if all those ingredients are there, there's going to be a change. But he goes ahead to say, what if you don't have a clear vision and objective? He says, instead of a change process, people are going to be confused. So as a leader, if you don't have a clear vision where you want to take your people, then it will end up making people confused. He says, if we don't have competent people, what is likely to happen? He says, if you don't have competent people, then there is likely to be agony. So the change process will come with a lot of pain to the people because the people don't know how they are going to go about it, and that makes it very difficult for them. Then he says, what if we don't have motivated people? Then he says, there's likely change may be there, yes, but can take a very long time, or what he calls a slow change. We also say, what happens if we don't have the resources? Like one of you have mentioned. He says, if we don't have resources, instead of change process, then we are going to have a lot of frustration. That is what we have seen in many of our organizations or departments, a bit of frustrations because probably you want to change this and that, but no resources have not been allocated. Then he says, what if we don't have a good action plan to manage your change process? He says, as a leader, then you are going to have what he calls a false start. It means you are not going to start on the right footing, and therefore you are likely to have a lot of challenge in the change process. So that's what I think Peter Cotter talks about when he talks about change management, and he says that all those things must be there for change to be there. So I think one of the things that we may need to think about, even as we think about the challenges that we are having today, is also to really look at it from that point of view, that possibly there are certain things that are required to be there, but for some reasons they are there, they may not be there, or they are not inadequate, or they are not adequate to really spearhead a successive change process. The concept of change, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to finish. I hope Bonakoyo has joined us. If he has not joined us, I hope he is going to join us shortly. The reading change is tied very closely with the concept of culture, that you cannot talk about change without talking about culture. One of the biggest challenge in the change leadership is how to deal with culture. And when you talk about culture, culture is a way of life, is how we do our business in our organization. And the way we deal, or the way the behavioral aspect of how we deal with issues. Because once you have brought people together, they are likely to develop a certain form of culture. The way we have grown up within our social setup brings about culture. That's why we talk about what is your culture, or how was your culture, or how did you grow within the culture that you grew up in. So we also talk about culture, and culture manifests itself in many aspects. So sometimes you see culture manifesting itself in form of symbols. So that symbols could be words, could be gestures, could be pictures, could be objects. To me, that you can be able to tell somebody is of a particular culture because of a particular symbol that he uses. And I know when I talk about this, you've seen people like in religion using a certain symbol to to really to make it known to anybody who interact with them that they are of this kind of culture. Those of you who know, we have like the Rastafarians who uses certain kinds of color, so that then they are known by those colors, or by that certain types of dresses, or even certain religions where people tie or put up certain pieces of clothes, and that becomes their symbol, or even certain types of signs or signatures. So all those signify a type of culture or a manifestation of a culture. Other culture comes in forms of things like heroes. They depict a certain origin, or a certain mystery or origin. And you'll find that even in many cultural background, people with certain cultural background associating themselves with a certain hero. Depicting could be their origin, and could be how, as a culture, they have been able to grow, or to have, come up with certain values or virtues. Culture also sometimes manifests itself in terms of ratios. Yeah, ratios may be activities. Sometimes can be superfluous. Sometimes can be, ratios. Practices, sometimes done at a certain time, or a certain period, or a certain month, or a certain day. So there are all those manifestation of culture. And the core of a culture is formed by values. When you talk of culture, then we are talking about values. These are broad tendencies for preferences. That even in our country, for instance, if you look at our constitution, we've developed what we are calling the national values. And these are things that are expected to be part of our society, that people will live with certain values, which are already provided under Article 10 of our Constitution, the national values. As public servants, we also talk about the public service values, which are also outlined clearly in Chapter 13 of our Constitution, Article 232, values of professionalism, that as public servants, we must be people who are guided by the principles of transparency, the principles of professionalism, the principles of nationality, the principles of being patriotic. So these values is a manifestation. Even when you talk about national values as a country, we want to develop a certain culture. But in leading change, one of the can be an obstacle is the kind of culture and how that culture manifests itself within that organization. And that is why, as a leader, probably you've gone into a new organization and you are supposed to reform it. You are supposed to change it, because could be it is not performing because of certain limitations. One of the starting points is for you to understand the culture, because by understanding the culture of the people there, then you are likely probably to be able to know what could be some of the obstacles. So, so when you look at the manifestation of cultures, sometimes there are things that are so deep that are not visible. Even the examples that I have given, you see that some of them are so deep. Like when you talk about values, it is not something that you can see on the face. It will require you to interact with the people to know what is it that they value. It is embedded so much into their attitude, the way their beliefs, and many others. But of course, as you continue unpacking it, you see that there are others that become more visible. Like when you talk about symbols are clear, you can see them. Just like we talk about Kenya as a country and we have our national symbols, we have the flag or other symbols that we use, and they are visible. So, so it means as a leader, there are things that will be visible to you, which probably may be helping you as a leader to understand the deeper, hidden issues that probably you may require to change, so that then you can ensure that there is a change process. And people behaviors are influenced so much by our cultural or those cultural issues. Because when you look at the people's behavior, you find that people behaviors are influenced by a number of things. And one of them is actually the culture. That's why people will tell you, in our culture, we don't do this. In our culture, we are not allowed to do this. In our culture, women are not allowed to do that or cannot do this. So you can see then that influences the way people behave. People are also influenced, behavior influence is also as a result of our social interaction. Whether the people we interact with on a day-to-day basis, our social status, as far as the environment that we live in is concerned. It could also be other social factors like age groups. So that if, for instance, if you are a leader and you are leading change, could be in a community where majority of people probably are within a certain age group, could be, let's say, like the millennial or the Gen Zs, then it means the way you manage change may be different, or the way you read change may be very different from the way you can do it in an organization where we have more of the people being senior, that's people of older years. So the social factors. Then, of course, there are also personal factors. Personal factors are those issues that are very close to the way we behave as individuals, you know, the age group, the occupation, the economic circumstances, our lifestyle, the demographics of the people, the personality, even the issue of the self-concept and all that. And that also affects the way we look at change. The other broader factor that also affects our culture and then becomes a major influence of our behavior is psychological factors. And psychological factors, what is it that motivates us? Some of them may be perception, others may be things that we have learned over time. Other issues may be beliefs, yeah, or even attitude, certain attitude. So a combination of this is what we call the culture. And then any place you go to any organization, you need to be aware that there are micro culture. That in an organization, sometimes people who live together within an organization for a relatively longer period of time, then they tend also to behave in a similar manner. And for that, sometimes we say, because of that, then sometimes reading change in that organization, you must have to know how to deal with that culture, that micro culture that have already been developed. And that is where then the connection between reading change and the way we manage the various types of culture that we have in our organizations. I don't know, because I think we are running out of time, but what could be your contribution? How do you deal with issues of culture? And do you think it is such a dominant issue in reading change within our organization? I would want to hear one or two comments about that. And then we can call it a day, hoping. Mr. Okoyo, are you in?
Yes, Mr. Dogo, I'm in.
Okay. Thank you. Let's get one or two people give a contribution, and then I can give it back to my colleague. Any comments on the issue of culture and how it affects us as leaders when we are trying to do reforms or reading change within our organization? Can you give your own personal experience as a leader in the public service? I'm not seeing any raised hand. Okay, PN, Peter.
So yes, Mwalimu, I just wanted to comment briefly. There's this saying that goes that when you go to Rome, you do what the Romans do. Just picking from there is that when you are in a particular organization, as a leader, you need actually to understand the culture of that particular organization for you to come up with new ideas. You have to study it, you have to understand it first before trying also to know where the problem is or where opportunities lie, so that when you are actually trying to guide the team members, at least you are coming from an informed point of view.
Peter, if I can ask you, is it easy for leaders to change? Is it easy to change a culture within an organization?
Is not easy. It's an uphill task, and that's why I'm underscoring the fact of trying to understand how this culture has been institutionalized over time, because again, that culture has an element of leadership in it. The leaders who have been there probably have been part of institutionalizing that culture. So it's not easy. You cannot just wake up one day and try to change things, because what will happen is that you'll become now an impediment to that change. People will be seeing you as not one of the change agents, because you'll become like now an impediment to the change you want to lead. So first you have to understand why that culture exists, and from that understanding, then you can be able to come up with the ideas of how you can now try to bring change. So it's not a very easy thing to do, and it can be seen in public service that when you try to come up with change, because as I had mentioned earlier, when I was responding to another, or when I was contributing to another discussion, people who have been there, some of them still feel that the status quo is good for them. And so that status quo is also linked to the culture that exists. So if you come up there, as you mentioned, you have to try to understand whether that status quo is geared towards achieving the organizational goals or not. Otherwise, if you cannot be able to convince the team members or the leadership of that particular organization, then it will be very difficult. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Peter. Because actually the tendency then is that when people have come up or have built up a particular type of culture, then they also tend also to protect it. And therefore, any change that is being introduced is faced with a lot of resistance. Joseph, your comments also? Joseph?
Thank you.
Yes,
I wish
Joseph?
to say that as a leader, to
Yes.
lead change in a deep-rooted culture, it is very important to implement change incrementally rather than handbrakes. This will allow people time to observe and also adjust to the new behaviors, practices, and also the values within their familiar context. And that way they'll give in for the change.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Joseph speaking?
Yes.
Yes, yeah, Joseph. Yeah. So you find that, yes, and I think that is why Peter Kotas talks about the change process being a bit gradual. First of all, trying to build a coalition, so that as you build that coalition, you are slowly introducing a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things, attitude, a new ways of identifying yourself with the values that you as a leader believe may be very, very necessary for the change process. Ladies and gentlemen, I because time is up, I want to end there. And I must say that it was a good, it was another good moment interacting with you. And thank you also for being a bit participative. These online classes sometimes can be very out of touch if there is a little bit of no that kind of interaction. So I want to take this chance to welcome and invite my colleague, Mr. Okoyo, to take over from here. Karibu Bwana Okoyo.
Good evening. Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Mr. Thuku. Now, I want to engage you on concept of learning, and now in this era, we want organizations that are ever learning, ever changing, and this is not optional. This is kind of mandatory now if any organization is going to survive. So long as you are offering any value to any stakeholder, then Stations calls for that. And I want you to, there are two stages, there are two eras in life which I want you to reflect over as a strategist. And please, I want to talk to you not as people managing, as people providing leadership strategically. There was a time around 1920s, there was a time when organizations didn't have to be learning. And there are two loops of learning. And please listen to me and listen to me well. We want organizational learning and we want a learning organization. A learning organization creates knowledge through their processes and then changes their SOPs, standards of practice, changes their frameworks, changes their value propositioning to make sure that they are delivering what the client wants. And organizational learning is an organization learning from external loops so that they can benchmark, they can do standard, do industry norms and understand what it means after situational analysis and then redefine their strategy and redefine internal processes. Okay. If you're going to oversee any organization today, and I'm picking my words rightfully, yours is oversight, guiding, providing direction. That is what strategists do. And I don't want you to reflect with managerial professionals tactical thinking now. No, I want you to think like a leader. If you're going to lead any organization today, then the benchmark is whoever you're serving, they want their service or utility, and this is how they want it. They want it unique and better. They want it faster, they want it convenient, they want it cost effective. And any value propositioning that is going to be unique and better consistently must not have lasted for 500 days, which means anything that is going to be a utility and is going to solve a problem in unique and better ways must not be more than 500 days. Any value propositioning or any strategy that is older than 500 days, simply put 2 years, is not unique and better anymore. Which means out there's somebody with a unique and better solution. And that's how knowledge-based economy works. And what I like with knowledge-based economy is because as a strategist, you don't strategize to compete. You strategize to co-create new utilities. And then you compete by not competing because you become unique and better. And the more I'm unique and better, I don't have to compete you. I just have to make you irrelevant. Not because of what I have, it's how I think. If I can co-create to unique utilities, then I'm unique and better all the time. And the more I become unique and better, and this service, I'm rolling it out in quicker, faster, convenient, cost-effective ways, then I'm opening up new markets. And new markets, I want you to think of blue oceans. I'm borrowing from Kim and Rene. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to have something. You just need to co-create, not compete. And if you understand this clearly, then as a strategist, you'll realize that you must be ever learning, ever changing to land on unique and better utilities. And the people you're serving today, they want it authentic. They want it exotic. They want it unique. They want it better. And when I take you back to 1920s was a unique time historically. And please, I want you to contextualize and learn that 1920s, the demand of the customer was not for a unique and better thing, not even for exotic, authentic experiences. No. That time, the world was thirsting for goods and services. Remember, by around 1945 to 50s, we had 2 very bad world wars. The world wars messed up the economies, messed up markets in every aspect, and people are just thirsting for goods and services. Any good, not a personalized good, not a customized good, not a branded good, just any good. That was commodity market. So long as you could roll out any good, any commodity, that was good enough. And remember also, that was a time also, God also brought a very bad plague. So world wars happened, plague happened, wiped out productive people, wiped out strong men and women in their prime, and economies got into a depression. That time, again, the only good thing that happened at that time is we developed engine, and with the engine, we conquered geography, and with faster ways of producing and faster transport, now they were thirsting markets. But these markets were not unique markets. These markets just wanted something standardized. So around that time, you could standardize. You could standardize things, and word could fit all. You could even regulate. You could even mandate. And that was okay because situations were not complex. I like giving example with bathroom soaps so that you understand. Around that time, if people wanted to go and clean themselves, it was not frequent. Top priority was not to smell good and look clean. People just wanted to survive around that time. So in continental Europe, families will bathe once in 3 months, and mothers they'll put the bathtub in front of the home or the house, and they'll warm water, and daddy will go in first, and the kids will go in after that, and then mother will go in last when the water is messed up and dirty. That's how mother sacrifice. By then, soap was just you just had to take salt and boil it in fat. People just wanted a bar soap. No color, no nothing, just a soap so that they could clean themselves. Traditionally, in my community, we didn't even use water. We used to take ghee and take ugali and roll it over your skin. Top priority was not to smell good, look good, or feel good. And it was not a priority at all. Okay. The year of our Lord today, 2025, go to the supermarket, try to buy a toilet soap today. It's not a soap now. It's about experiences. It's about brands. It's about other solutions. So let me give you an example. I'll give for both men and women. Now, if you go to the supermarket today, go to the part where the toiletries are, then go to the soaps. Do you know now? There are kind of soaps that if you use and you shower with them, you start getting a shade lighter. You get to Rangiathao. And now, ladies going for this, it's not because they want to clean themselves every day. No. They're not seeking cleanliness. They're seeking at a lighter shade. Like, let's say you'll find a beautiful blackberry, but the blackberry, because of love or corporate arrangement, want to be a shade lighter. Then in such a case, the blackberry will buy this soap with one thing in mind: to get a shade lighter, because maybe for love reasons, people want Rangiathao. So maybe I want to keep my love, and because of that, I buy this soap. So you look at my reason now. I'm not seeking to clean. I'm not seeking a soap. I'm seeking a solution. I'm seeking a brand. I'm seeking something totally different. That's how things are today. It's not what you have. It's what you do with what you have. And you can have. I can still make you irrelevant. And so that's one soap. Then there's also soap for which ladies use a lot. It's to exfoliate. It's like it's made of some sand or something. And the more anytime you bathe with it, when you come out after exfoliating, you look young. Now look at the person picking that soap. Women want to look young all the time. Even when you're old, you're somebody's babe. And because you're chasing love and these people want their babes young, then now you buy a soap. But it's not a soap you're buying. It's not to clean yourself. It's not just a bar soap. What you're seeking is youthfulness. And the youthfulness, because you're chasing love or you're chasing some other arrangement. Then again, now there are unique people who also want fragrance around them because of social influence or maybe part of their branding. And then in such a case now, there's soaps with fragrance so that you can smell good, look good. That person, when they go to the bathroom, it's not to clean themselves. To clean themselves, they need a bath soap in 1920s when it was just cleaning. Now it's not cleaning. Now they're seeking brands, they're seeking solutions, they're seeking experiences. Some are authentic, some are unique, and that's how market is today. And once you understand that, then there'll be no unemployment because unique utilities will be there. So the most important thing is Just listen to the customer, then get what resonates to the customer, then come up with it in a way that is efficient but effective and sustainable. And so long as it's consistent and reliable and trusted, then you're in. In such a case, you're a super brand. And you're a super brand because you listen, you learn, you create. You don't compete. You co-create. And so long as you're co-creating utilities, then you don't have to compete. So like in that case, when I'm seeking a fragrance, I want to smell good. When I want to smell good, it's good for my brand, or it's good for whatever relationship I'm seeking. So in such cases now, you have to understand how you develop blue oceans so that you stay unique and better, and you don't compete, and you don't work hard also, and you use more. You create more impact with less. That's a knowledge-based economy. So that's why learning and knowledge management now is so important. And big data is the thing now. It's the gold. Whoever has big data and can mine it and can lead to move it from data to info to commerce and utility. And it's not just knowledge for knowledge's sake. We want knowledge for utility. And if that utility resonates and is authentic and is believable and it's exciting and can be trusted and is reliable, then you're in as a brand. So now let me get to men. Still on soap business, there are some men now who seek luxury. They're so luxurious. They know they do facials, they do nails, they use sunscreen, and they use moisturizers because they want to feel good. And these men with money, if you go to their bathroom, look at their bathtub, you'll see the handle is from rare things, like maybe if you can afford ivory, it will be ivory, or a rare stone. It could even go golden, whatever. And before they get into the bathtub to shower, look at how they treat their bath water. First, they throw in their rare salts. They throw in their rare herbs, exotic herbs, because their life is exotic and they seek luxury. Now there's a soap for that, Imperial Leather. Look at the tag of Imperial Leather. Adds a little luxury to your life. That's how complicated markets are today. And now when I see you competing, you failed as a strategist. You just need to redefine the concept in which the industry is operating. And to redefine, listen, empathize, just go to the customer, and whatever you pick from the customer, learn the utility in it, and move knowledge to utility so fast. And you need big data, and you need artificial intelligence so that you can roll it out in faster, unique, convenient, cost-effective ways. Then you create super brands, then economy grows. So when I see unemployment, it's not because of what you have. It's because you don't know how to deal with what you have, because you're not creating knowledge. You're ever learning, ever changing. When you're ever learning, ever changing, you co-create. When you co-create, you don't compete. When you co-create, you pick new utilities. Then you move to economy to full-time employment. And there are also people who are so elitist in the soap thing. I'm still dealing with how you shower. There's some people who are so elitist now, and they're enlightened. So they won't put any chemical on their body. So they go herbal and natural. So they're natural soaps, they're herbal soaps, and there's so many from all sorts of herbs. Aloe vera, you know them, aloe vera, there's moringa, all kind of soaps. But they would rather not put anything chemical on them because they want to live long. So the reason is living long. It's not just cleaning themselves. But again, there are people who have very unique feelings. Like my last born son cannot use his toothpaste, and his soap must be black. So there are people who see cleaning in black. So they see that, they see black, okay, they honor black, and the way white used to be symbolizing cleanliness, to them, black symbolizes purity, symbolizes cleaning. They have a right to their opinion. And that's how their life is. And then they are now black toothpaste. They are also black soaps, totally black. So when you see them in their bath, they look dirty, but after a short while, they feel clean. That's how they feel. All of us have our feelings, our unique utilities, and some are really authentic. So as a strategist now, put your foot down. Create a strategy. First, redefine the industry. Redefine it by picking utilities. Utilities that resonates with unique needs. If anything that you're doing is not unique and better, forget about it. Number two, create a structure that allows for learning, changing. What we want now is adaptability, but also resilience in adaptability. So the structure must reflect that. We want faster decision making, faster communication, teams learning. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at structure that is highly lean and efficient, because we want responsiveness, we want high level adaptability, but also we want resilience. So decision making, a flatter strategy, because now we are dealing with what we call a flat world. A flatter strategy is responsive. We want you to be quick in responding because we want our services in quicker ways. And the thing is, if you can't make it unique and better, somebody has a unique and better solution, which is rolled out efficiently, effectively, and sustainably. And now, if your structure is not reflecting that, because in structure, you are also controlling costs, you're also controlling staffing, you're also controlling resource allocation, you're also controlling basis of controls. And we don't want, I told you now that we don't want standardized arrangement. We want customized. We want personalized. Yes, that's how people want their things now. And whoever will come up with a structure that allows that flexibility so that you can customize and personalize and make my life easy, then the structure must also take uptake of technology in the strategic thinking, so that you end up having a organizational structuring that allows that. So that's how you handle communication, how you handle authority, how you handle decision making, how you handle controls. When I look at your structure, and these are problems I have with public service, because public service, we are over mandating, we are over standardizing, we are over legislating, and we come up with so many regulators in a time when we are not supposed to regulate, we are not supposed to standardize, we are not supposed to we are supposed to customize, and that becomes a problem, because when we say all structures must look the same, then we end up with a functional structure where individual is doing a function. That can work today. What works today is individual as a part of a multidimensional team, learning and changing, working towards outcomes and impacts. If you're not careful, then we will just work for efficiencies and not effectiveness and sustainability. Then we will have outputs, but not outcomes and impact. Then we can have so many relevant, costly outputs done in faster ways, but they don't make sense, because what we look at when we are standardizing, when we are regulating around efficiencies. Look at how sometimes we define productivity. We define productivity as efficiencies. No. These are some of the things that don't make sense. So if you ask me, again, how will you control performance now? I would rather just go with a balanced scorecard, because I would want an agile organization, but not just agility alone, because we are also past agility. We are in design thinking now. And in design thinking, you're not just supposed to be agile, but you're supposed to be agile, but co-creating. Co-creating means high-level empathy and listening and picking so fast. And that wants very good communication, and not just any communication, effective communication. And this effective communication and data must be managed so well, so that you move data to info to utility, and do it so well. That's when you're managing data well. And data is a gold mine today. And I see structures which are functional. Then you just end up with people doing things in faster ways. But whether those things make sense, whether they integrate to create impacts, then we just absorb donor money in faster ways. The more we absorb donor money in faster ways, does not mean we are creating employment. Does not mean we are productive. Productivity now must link up to move it to KPIs, to KRAs, so that the board intent, which informs politics, should also be looped in. Then is when you'll have economy growing. Otherwise, we just get up with permanent pensionable busybodies doing so many things, but these things, they don't end up learning. And then again, I'm still on the structure. Structure informs culture, and structure informs whether you work in teams or not. And structure. Hello? Hey. Oh my God. Can we mute this person kindly? Because you're late. Can somebody mute this person? Okay, thank you. Thank you for caring. So I was saying, the kind of performance we need lead and lag. That's why I'm thinking balance cockered. But then again, I have to warn you, because again, we have been thinking agility so fast and agility in responsiveness. But responsiveness and agility alone is not enough. Now we need digital. We need design thinking, and design thinking now is where co-creation is. And in such cases, you really need to be learning, and the organizational culture must learn. My fear now is, in public service, and my colleague was talking to you about culture, somebody I respect a lot is Peter Drucker. Peter Drucker kept saying that in most organizations, culture is eaten strategy for breakfast. For sure, I think in public service, I do a lot of culture audits because I help people manage change, guide strategy, and induct boards. What do I see? I see organizations where culture has eaten strategy totally. And culture has made people norm around things which are anti any strategic intent you can come up with. Because when you come up with, you want ever learning, ever changing. Look at the snoggerialing you'll get in public service. When anybody tries to learn and change in public service, the snoggerialing will be kerere, tumeona wengi, atachoka. Kerere, mjuaji, unasumbua sana. Then you'll only be transferred where you can only be seen but not heard. And then again, nobody wants to hear you. Nobody wants to hear anything, because look at the other integrated HR policies vis-a-vis learning. Look at reward strategy in most public service. What do we reward in public service? We don't reward value addition. We don't reward learning. We don't reward changing. What do we reward? We reward entitlement, loyalty, and appearing. So long as you appear and you have certificates, you're entitled to. And so long as you are not thinking a lot, then again you're loyal, then you'll move up. Then why the hell should somebody think? And now look at the performance targets, the stretch element. When you're rewarding entitlement and loyalty and appearing, then who will give you a stretch element? Why should I go for differential performance, which is challenging? Why should I seek challenge when challenge does not make sense? When just appearing and entitlement makes sense, then why don't I just sit back and wait for 30 years? Then you just become a permanent pensionable human liability for 30 years. Then move on, and maybe in other arrangements, look for excitement in other ways. And in such culture now, you can't. And also look at it. When you redefine strategy at strategic level and you bring it down, then look at the snoggerialing. Tumeona wengi, atachoka. Si hata nani pia alikuja na scheme, si amechoka. Now you see that kind of snoggerialing, that's coming from the culture. And when cultures run wild, there's no learning. Yeah. If anything, if you try learning, you'll be victimized. Culture will stop you from learning. And they tell you, hii ni kazi ya umma, hii sio kazi ya mama yako. So don't usisumbue watu. Just wait. Wait, work, retire, go home. And that's how it is. So we have to integrate all HR policies to support culture of learning, to support strategy of learning. Then it's when in performance you'll get stretch element in targets. Because without stretch element in target, where you're challenging yourself to be much better and improve, that you can only do when reward is linked to differential performance. And when reward is not linked to differential performance, then if it is just linked to ticking boxes of regulation, then you'll just rather tick boxes. Ticking boxes is much easier because that's what standards want. And once standards are also legalized and then regulations are legislated and some of the mandates are older than 30 years, then think 30 years, but try to solve problems with a 30-year knowledge, 30-year framework when situations is current. Then in such cases, I think the younger population you're serving will tell you don't get it. You don't get it. And I think that's what they were saying last year, that you don't get it because you're using 1920 thinking or legal instruments which are much older and we are behaving like things have not happened, so we didn't learn, then we have older mandates. Then you are aligning strategic intent to mandates which are 10, 20, 30 years old. I think it's high time we did cabinet papers so that the mandates can be reviewed. And if the mandates are reviewed, so that they can be as current as maybe 3 years, Kama Mbaya. But when mandates are 10 years old, and you're trying to come up with unique, better solutions using a 10, 15, 20 years mandate, I think you're not being realistic. So mainstream learning, mainstream ever-changing, ever-learning, mainstream managing knowledge properly. And in that managing knowledge properly, there must be policies towards managing records and handling them well so that we create knowledge. Just winding up, I know we need a learning organization, and we need organizational learning. We need the two loops. But the policies, the strategic intent and the policies following that must allow for that. And then the structure must allow for ever learning, ever changing. And culture must allow for ever learning, ever changing. And other HR policies, which now comes with especially reward. How I wish we could be rewarding ever learning, ever changing. We could be rewarding risk taking. We could be rewarding adaptability. And we could be rewarding innovation and creativity. And then again, in performance, how I wish we could be keen on moving from just efficiencies to effectiveness and sustainability, and how we could also move from outputs to outcomes and impact, so that we can start rewarding individuals and teams and create structure and culture which is allowing for individual targets integrated to team targets and multidimensional teams learning and changing to reach impacts and so that we can have economic development. Otherwise, we will just be sucking donor money, which sometimes is so easily available. And because of that, we just suck it and continue being sustainable and ticking boxes so that we just don't think at all. Then when you're taking boxes so much because one fits all, then structures will look the same. Then what messes me up is also that HR instruments, HR manuals look the same. And when I look at the HR manuals, they were informed by the DPM manual of 1960 something. Then you want to use 1960 something policies. These policies must change. How do we change them? Through organizational learning and a learning organization, giving feedback to policy framework. So HR manuals should look current, reflecting the current strategic situations, and all other HR instruments, like how we design jobs now. Job now cannot be a single skill. And not high specialization now. We want skill sets. Because we want skill sets. We want a variety of skills, and then we want to monetize competencies which are unique. So we don't need highly specialized knowledge now. We need multi-skills and competencies. So we have to move from knowledge, from mastery only, mastery of concepts and proficiency only, to competencies and monetize them as much as possible in reward. And also uptake of technology, I have to say that it's now big, and anybody managing learning and knowledge should know the role of uptake of technology now, because we want these services unique, better, convenient, cost-effective. They'll not be like that without uptake of technology in every arrangement. And if you're not careful, there are these worldwide bodies, organizations which don't belong to any legislative arrangements, and they'll make governments irrelevant because they'll be offering these services we are offering at low cost but conveniently and cost effectively on your phone. Like now, we saw it with Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos over COVID came up with an app which can render dispensaries and health centers and health ministry relevant, because you just talk into this app and in 2 hours prescription is originated and drugs are delivered. And that's what people want. People just want services on their phone in faster ways. So give me a good reason why I should pay tax when somebody is not a Kenyan, can roll it out to me and roll it out at very low cost and without any mistakes at all. So government has to think now. So we need reskilling and retooling so fast, because I see like a military and things like that. I'm seeing a situation where we will be using more drones than boots on the ground. And all this means what? Means people have to retool and reskill so fast. I think I want to end it there. And have I been having people listening? Hello?
We are listening. We are there.
Yeah.
We are
Oh,
here. We are here. Thank you so much.
Mwalimu, we are
some
listening.
point of person, there was nobody
Yeah,
listening.
yeah.
Oh,
We are
hey,
here.
by the way,
You,
before I forget, as I've been talking to people, people gave me a very big challenge, and they say, Okoyo, these things you're talking, put them into a framework in a book. I did a book called 1 + 1 = 4, Reimagining Excellence in a Disruptive Economy. This book is forwarded by PLO Lumumba. Getting somebody to forward this book was a little bit of a challenge. And when we were launching the book, Professor Lumumba was on the same table with me. He was my chief guest because he's the one who forwarded the book. And he had a written speech, which he did put aside. And I didn't know on his phone he was doing a poem for me. And in the poem, the title was The Chief Disruptor. And they kept calling me the Chief Disruptor. I don't mind disrupting thinking if we can create a better economy. And I strongly feel that we need to rethink the economy, rethink it, rethink performance models, rethink what productivity means, rethink what structures should be, rethink organizational culture. And if you asked me, I would rather we go for a BPR. We need a turnaround strategy in almost all our organizations, and I think they need a business process reengineering to redefine. To redefine. And I feel our mandates are so old, so I feel maybe CEOs who are here, directors who are here, kindly, can we do cabinet papers so that they're taken through your PSS to the cabinet so that they can be given better mandates? I believe we can achieve highly developed economy as soon as possible. It's doable. Look at what Dubai did in your lifetime. Dubai 50 years ago was a hopeless desert where warlords were roaming. There was nothing there. It was a hopeless desert. Look at Dubai today. In fact, people who have found money in questionable ways when they have a girlfriend and they want to treat them, what do they tell them? Babe, I'm taking you to Dubs. That Dubs, which is a super brand today, attracting capital flight like madness, was a hopeless desert. Then look at a country that has moved their economy to the 5th largest in the world, South Korea. And I want you to look at South Korea and North Korea. It's not the religion. It's not your culture. It's not your God. And it's not amount of rain you get and soils. You can be getting good rains and good soils. Like in our case, we have great rains, great soils, great degrees, great PhDs. But we just have them, like knowledge. We just have knowledge for knowledge's sake. We just produce a lot of knowledge, have knowledge, but don't move it to utility. And then now look at what is happening. Our sons and daughters are made modern day slaves. They are cleaning after other people. We see plane loads going to Middle East. What are they doing there? Waiting tables, cleaning after other people. They are doormen, they are taximen, with degrees. And in their prime. So they are just modern day slaves. So that's why I did that book. So that we can redefine this. Yes, because we have everything that it takes. So look at South Korea and North Korea. Same cousins, same religion, same birthday. It's like a ruler was drawn. Now fly over them in the night today. When you look down to South Korea, you see literal light. When you look up to North Korea, you see darkness. And look at South Korea. Let me just walk you through this economy in a quicker way. Most likely, you have a Samsung. Maybe this class you're taking with a Samsung, like I'm giving you this on a Samsung. You see Samsung? It's sorting you out. It's a leakable brand, reliable, resonates, consistent, exciting. Then look at LG. Most likely in your kitchen, LG is warming your food. It's cooking for you. It's doing your laundry. It's sorting you out. And you're picking it out of choice. Nobody forces you. Then look at motor industry. Look at the last Safari rally in Naivasha. Which vehicle was giving Toyota hell? It's Hyundai. When they got into motor industry, you laughed. That time they were doing Daewoo, they were doing Musso. You laughed. You said, oh, you can't do super engineering like your northern neighbor, like Germany. You can't do appropriate engineering like your northern neighbors, Japan. When they came out with Hyundai, they shut you up. And Hyundai is a lot more. You want the longest bridge built in the world, you have to go to Seoul and talk to Hyundai. These people moved this economy to the 5th largest economy, while us, we are begging. We are begging others to survive. We are cleaning after other people. We are modern day slaves. So I don't know. Maybe we are sons of a lesser God. I don't think so. But we can think. So get this book. You can get it from the Kenya schools. It's there. You can get it from Noria Bookshop. Noria bookshops are in Nairobi. You also have one in Nyali and Naivasha. If you go to Naivasha Lake Resort, if you go to Enaspai, you can pick a copy. It's just going for 1,500. But I've put a framework because I was being challenged. Like these things, put them in a framework so that you can have a think through. So I feel we need a think through. And that is what we need now badly, because we have things, and some of the things we have, we are not the ones benefiting. Oh, maybe let me give you something. You see, we have the best coffee in the world. Arabica coffee is rich. You take it in the morning, it's a coffee you brew. It's not instant. But the aroma alone, some people are using it as a fragrance. You take that coffee in the morning, it gets to your head. It's nice. But who is making most money out of this coffee? I look at the women in Nyeri. I look at the women in Kisii digging. They're just diggers. They're just they're just processors of commodities, like 1920 when it was commodity market. The people making money out of this, it's not the digger. The digger is just a modern day slave, a sweater, a hard worker. The people making money of this are people who have so exotic, authentic experiences around coffee. Look at Java, look at Starbucks, look at Nescafe. Their collar stays white. They don't work hard. They work smart. And I owe you nothing. In this God-given world, we are just members of a common world. I owe you nothing. It's either you learn, you become competitive, or you perish. What did God say? My people perish because of lack of what? Lack of knowledge, not lack of things. Things we have. We have so many universities who have created a lot of knowledge, but we are just storers of knowledge. And we have good soils, good rains, strong people. People we have, rains we have, soils we have, but we're just modern day slaves. When we see you move to Europe, most likely they're coming to clean. They're coming to clean after us. We don't worry. The day you start thinking, we'll start worrying. But now we like you. We like you. Come as a cleaner. Come to NAS. Come to wage tables. That's the way we like seeing you in some uniform, tagged there. You're part of the corporate arrangement. You're part of somebody's brand. But you're not owners of brands. You can't. Look at Safaricom. If Safaricom was government, it could have been chaotic. Because you don't understand shared economy, circular economy as resource mobilization strategies. You just wait for money from treasury only. But now look at reality. When I would say I want it unique, better, faster, convenient, and I want it beyond world class, it's not because don't start with money. Just learn. Like now, look at Uber. They don't own those vehicles, but they're world class. They give you those logistics. You can't touch them, but they are not owners of things. They don't have. They just use people's idle resources, shared economy. Look at Facebook, dealing in big data, Facebook, Twitter, and all that. You buy your own phone, you put your own internet, you take your own families. They get big data. They don't own. They don't pay you. They don't buy for you any phone. That's what I'm talking here. So look at Safaricom now. You'll see M-Pesa on people's fences, people's butcher. If it was government, they could have been, they had to match all your regulatory bodies' requirements, where there'll be buildings. And this era is now collaboration, leases and network. But you'll find government, you have to own buildings, you have to buy cars, and all this from a donor money. So you're reducing disposable income. You're reducing effective demand. You're reducing marginal propensity to invest and save. So there's lots of poverty with a lot of authority and impunity. And life continues. Then politicians will tell you, namkai hivyo. I think I'm done. Any question? Any reaction? Oh, I'm sorry if this talk didn't go well with somebody. Please allow me to be a disruptor. And after listening to me, this should worry you. Okay, so any question? Hey, wow. David, Kiprop. Okay. Is there anybody there yet?
Yes, Daktari.
Yes.
Yes, we are here.
Harriet, what do you want to say? Oh,
No, I've enjoyed the lesson.
eh?
I've enjoyed the lesson. It was so nice. Thank you.
So Mwalimu has also hit the nail on the head.
Harriet, are you serious? You enjoyed listening to me? Nobody
Hey,
is listening to me.
I'm very serious, very serious.
Oh, so what do you want to do with this? Alice Mushiri, you want to say something?
Yes, Dr. Ray, we'll be going to Matuga. I'm kindly requesting if we can have some several copies so that we can buy from there. Thank you.
From Matuga. Okay. But you're now in okay. Violet?
Thank you for that
And
good.
please, when I'm signing for you, that book in the eye first to see whether you have the new. Okay? So, Violet, what do you want to say?
Thank you for that knowledge that you have given us. It is really true until we are wondering what are we doing. We need to add value to our crops before we start exporting them like coffee.
Yes.
And it has given you have given us an eye opener. And I think thank you so much, Dr.
Good. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Violet, Mushiri, your hand is up. Or you have talked. Okay. So I'll see whether so far I don't have a book vendor in Matuga, but Mombasa school books are there, Embu books are there, Nairobi books are there, and we can see, and maybe online also. The bookshop in town is delivering online. I know they can deliver to you, or take my number. It can also be delivered to you. I have a secretariat delivering. So my number is 0724 76 25 45. I can repeat that. 0724 76 25 45.
2545.
Yeah, 76 25 45. 0724 76 25 45. You can call me. Also, in any arrangement, if you want me to explain something any further, because 1 hour actually is not enough to discuss all these situations. I've just tried my best. So in such a case now, if the president allows me, I can log out. And may God bless you as you think big. And may you have big ideas that is stopping you from sleeping.
Thank you, Dr. May God bless you too.
Thank you, Mr. Okoye. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. And may God bless you as we serve humanity.
God bless you too. I think we are done with our lesson. I don't know whether Dr. Merara has joined us. Dr. Merara.
Hello, once again.
Thank you. You can take over from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't have much to say, and I think you might also have listened to quite a bit. You might be tired. But maybe the only thing I can say is about the two issues that we have been debating along. One is for the assignment. As you know, the deadline for submission was today. So I'm still hoping to get those assignments maybe, if possible, today before the day ends. It's almost ending. But we shall be making presentations at a date to when we shall communicate on our wall, so that we can listen to what you have done. But I will be grateful if you can send those assignments so that we can collect them and hand over to the right people. So that's about the handing over. There was a question as to whether we need to do soft or hard copies. Now, these are considered and assessed like exams. So for that reason, we need to have the hard copies. I suggested that groups can bind theirs together in a spiral-bound document. Where a spiral-bound document is that if we need to separate them, it's easy to remove some of the documents from the spiral and put them aside. So that would be one way of doing it. And I hope, the way putting them together as a group will make it easy even for the assessment, because there will be comparison between the group assignment and the policy briefs that result thereof. Issue number 2 is about whether we are reporting to Matuga or Mombasa. Allow me not to answer that for now. I have to consult somewhere. But for those people who have been asked to report on first, please report to Matuga. That's where you are expected. I know there are 3 of them according to a letter that I saw somewhere. So I think they know themselves, so they know where to report. The rest of us, our dates of 15th still remain. We shall inform you in good time whether we are going to Mombasa or Matuga. Most likely Matuga, but I'll get that information as early as I can, because there are people who wanted to know that because of their travel arrangements. So I'll get that information. As soon as I get it, probably within the week, I will be able to share. Okay, I think those were the 2 main issues that we needed to discuss at the moment. I think I would only add by explaining that the online class, they come for a face-to-face experiential learning for 1 week, whereas the face-to-face class goes for 2 weeks, because it has that 1 week for experiential learning. And then there's a 3rd week where they do some of the work, including the presentation of their work. And then there's some bit of learning that also comes along. So that's why for us, we are doing 1 week and not 2 weeks. So those of you who may have been informed about going for 2 weeks, especially if you are joining a face-to-face class, that class will do their 1 week first, and then we go for the last week, which is now the experiential learning week. So I hope that is clear, especially for those who are joining the group that is already in Matuga. That group reported today, but you are going to join them next week. So having said that, I think those are the 3 issues. I want to just talk about them in brief. I want to open the floor for questions. I know you have had questions. We'll try to answer them. And if we can't, we'll seek clarification where it's due, and then I'll be able to communicate later. Floor is open.
Thank you, Daktari. I can see Engineer Mwaniki, Maureen, and Christine, and Jacqueline.
Okay, maybe we can go in that order, Madam President.
Okay. We can have Engineer Maureen.
Okay, so thank you so much, Madam President, and also Dr. Merara. Thank you for the information. Just the clarity is that I think the part for the hard copies probably might have been a part that may have come in right now, or I'm not very sure. But anyway, my request is that is it possible that we could be allowed to send the hard copies by tomorrow then? Because looking at the point of having to print and bind them and then send them to your offices, I think that was something that, let me speak for myself and my group, I would not factor that in. So that is why I thought it would be an email to send and submit the documentation. So can that be allowed, that we just get that extension by this one day to submit the copies physically? Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Maureen. Next is Christine. Was it Christine or Violet?
Yes, Christine. Thank you,
Yes.
Daktari. Mine was the same as Engineer Maureen, but I also needed clarification as to whether we'll be presenting on the week of 1st to 5th, and if so, if we could get an extension to submit our work maybe by Wednesday or end of this week. The other issue is on the issue of whether we'll be in Matuga or Mombasa. We will appreciate if the school gives us information on time, given that now this is the festive season. People are really traveling, and travels are getting expensive, and we might miss out. So it would be prudent. We'll appreciate if the school gives us the information within the week. That's all. Then for the individual assignment, are we also submitting it this week, or we submit it the next week? Asante.
Thank you.
Jacqueline?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Dr. Mirara. I think mine mirrors on what Engineer Maureen has spoken to, but since she spoke to her group, I speak for the rest. The request to drop off hard copies came in quite late. Not everybody is within Nairobi or able to make a quick dash to Lower Kabete. So the request is to allow some more time to take care of the miscommunication on your end and for us to be able to do the right thing. So kindly requesting for an extension of submission of the hard copies. Thank you.
Maybe the last one, so that Dr. Mirara, you can answer. Violet Mware, and if you have stopped, maybe you can flag off your hand.
Thank
Violet?
you, Dr. Yes, thank you, the President and Dr. Mirara. Mine, I just want to speak on behalf of Group 4. Our assignment was ready, but now this individual assignment, as I just want to reiterate what Christina said, Jacqueline has said, even engineer, some of us are not in Nairobi. So, you know, when we discuss, everything is like everybody resides in Nairobi. We are in other parts of the country. So if we have to send our individual assignment to the group leader, then it comes to Nairobi, it will not make it today. So also, may please, Dr. Mirara, can you clarify? Do we send that hard copy? Because when I asked on the wall, you said I can send to G4S, and I've already sent to you through G4S. Now, if I have to send to the group leader, is when now the group leader will have to bind, and again, I sent money for her to do the rest of the work, is when now she hands over as a full copies of individual work. So which is which? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mirara. I think they are all related, so you can.
Yes.
You can. Yeah.
Yes, I noticed they are all related, and I'll try to answer them together. Now, about the time for handing over. First of all, if it appeared like we did not intend to have the hard copies, I want to apologize for that miscommunication. But the main purpose, as I mentioned, is that they are going to be read and assessed as exams, and you know, with exam scripts become a very important component. So please bear with me on that one. About handing over, engineer says she'll be ready. Engineer and her group says she'll be ready by tomorrow. I think Christine said she was talking about all the other group except the engineers on a light structure. I think, supposing we agree that we are all ready by Wednesday, close of business, so that I can hand over.
That would be kind of you.
Yes, I think Wednesday, I can be able to defend up to Wednesday. That would give us enough time. Now, for those
Yes.
people, okay, thank you very much. Now, for those people who are in different areas, I was thinking of it this way, although it's just a suggestion. It's not that we must follow that. Probably even the group leader may be out of Nairobi, but there could be somebody within the group who is in Nairobi or in the neighborhoods. If we could probably send them by email, then that person prints and binds it and hands over, it would be a good idea. Now, my suggestion is both the group work and the individual are bound together as in a spiral bound document, so that now they are handed as a group, a group job. That might make it better for us so that it's easier to manage. For those who want to send directly, it's still okay. But why I also preferred to put them in groups is because of the fact that, remember, the policy briefs are supposed to be informed by the policy, by the position paper. So it's easy now to relate them. So that is my suggestion. And that way, I think if the group is cohesive and cooperative, we don't have to be so much of a burden by that process. Maybe we can task one person, but it doesn't have to be a heavy weight for all of us. That's what I can say about the assignments. Remember, we need a group and an individual assignment. Those ones are very important. When it comes now to Mombasa or Matuga, I am actually on it. I've been trying to follow up because one of you actually called me this morning and wanted that clarification to be made early, and I've made contact to some people, and I'm waiting for their feedback. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week, I'm not promising though, but I'm hoping by the end of this week, I should have the clear direction on where we are going. So that's what I can say for now. I don't want to tell you Mombasa or Matuga, but I'll tell you in time so that we can make the right arrangements. And if I get the information today, I'll still post it because it's something I'm following up. Is there anything I've left out?
Individual assignments.
I don't think so. I think, Daktari, it's kind of, some of us are not getting it right. You are saying we do the group work, then our individual assignments are coming from the group work. So we put the group assignment together with the individual assignment in a spiral file as one.
Yes, yes.
So those who are asking about individual assignment, that is how it's supposed to be.
So we need to bind them together.
Yeah, you can bind them
as one
together.
Document.
Yes,
Maybe
as
what
one
I can bring,
document.
our class, we are over 100. It's quite a big class. So if you said one here and there, yours might even get lost on the way. And the direction he is giving, where one of us in the group, either the group leader, because our individual assignments are from the group assignment. So we put the group assignment and all our individual assignments together in a spiral document, and then we send it like that. It's very hard for our document to get lost or to be misplaced. And it will be easy also for the institution, KSG, to handle our work, and even for the supervisors and the examiners to handle it. I think I got it right, Dr. Mira.
Thank you so much, because you actually read my
Madam
mind.
President.
Yeah.
Madam President,
you know, some of us have already binded those works. Now, unless you add us time up to Friday, or some people in the groups have not finished their personal assignments. Yeah, so now that gives another element that we have to again pull resources, time together to make this happen.
Let's do this. For those who have not done it, let's just send what we have. Then they can, if they are not able to do it by Tuesday, they can send it later so that we don't also scratch the other side in the wrong way. So that by Wednesday, if we have it, anybody bringing in theirs after that, now we can pick them on a case-to-case basis and place them in the right way. But remember what Madam President has said. Actually, it's something I'm not supposed to say, but I'll still say it, that one of my greatest worries is perhaps to have some of those documents not being in the right place because of the fact that there are so many.
I agree with you, Dr. Merara. I think readers, we need to know Rwakabete as the highest number of students. Others, they have like 20, 40. So let's make our work easier. Maybe by Wednesday, as we have been told, let's do it. That's our leaders also take responsibility on that. And if there is a group that has not consulted their supervisors, please do the same. For your individual assignment, as you said, maybe to your leader, ensure you put, you can sign, make sure it is signed. As you said it, maybe like if it's a PDF or whatever, make sure you sign your work. Electronic signatures are accepted.
Dr. Mirara and Madam President, I just have a clarification. On the 5th, and probably I might have gotten it wrong, or maybe might have been mentioned at one of the meetings. On the 5th or 4th, it was indicated that we do individual assignment was a policy brief or other document as provided in the guidelines. Now, in the guideline, it had the policy brief or the cabinet memo. So does that mean that we needed to stick to the policy brief only? Because I feel like maybe I might have missed something because I did a cabinet memo.
It's all right.
Sorry, engineer. I think the last time we met, that was Friday last week. Monday last week. Or I don't know whether it's last week or the previous week. I had made it clear that for our class, we were allowed to do only two types. That is a position paper for the group and a policy brief for the individuals. So if it's possible, I think...
Dr. Merara, that was not clear because
yes.
We thought it was the policy brief or cabinet memo.
And that is what the guide...
And that is what majority have done. Please, let's not change because it will really disorganize us.
But I remember I clarified this thing last week. Anyway, now...
but some of us, actually, some of us have done, we have embarked on a policy brief. So I don't know if that will also...
No, the policy brief is in order.
Okay.
What might challenge me is the cabinet memo. Now,
some of us have done a cabinet memo also.
Yeah, I understand.
And you see, that's why it would have been good if the work guidelines, because we kept being told, reference the work guidelines as your guide. You see, when that document is not updated accordingly, and probably due to certain circumstances, you know, this kind of things, these changes are the things that we're talking about as leaders, communication. If we don't have this kind of communication, then you find now people doing this kind of, you know, a few things, then we have misunderstanding or miscommunication or something. You do the wrong thing, it becomes a problem. So please let us have that clarification.
My question is, were you in class the last time I talked? I think that was Monday last week.
Yes, I was, but
I was in class, but I didn't hear. We just followed what you gave us. We followed the what is it called?
The workplace guidelines.
Anyway,
Yes, we followed the guideline.
okay, that's what under the bridge. Now, I don't know what we can do about it. Is it not possible to turn that cabinet memo into a policy brief? Because do you recall I even sent samples of policy briefs?
Yes, Dr. You did,
I talked about
because
it.
some
Yes.
people asked for the policy brief to see, to get an idea of how a policy brief is done, but you never clarified as to whether we were to ignore the cabinet memo part and do the
policy note.
the policy brief. So from what I see, I feel like it would be unfair to have us do assignment twice.
Just as you said it.
Dr. Milera, people have done both. Please allow us to have both, because we are also so busy where we are. We have so many things. We had 2 weeks of wastage, not understanding whether we are going to Matuga or anywhere. I think this one cannot be a big issue.
Okay. Allow me to consult somewhere. Now, I would like to know, sijui tutajua namna gani, how many have done the cabinet memo?
Me, I have done cabinet memo.
Same here, I've done a cabinet memo.
Yeah, if it's a critical number, maybe we can have a way of explaining it. But I do remember I sent it. In fact, if you look at the trail, the trail of the WhatsApp group, I think I even posted it. But that's not, that's what under the page.
Yes, you did on the 4th of November, and you clearly, that is why I have read it out for you. You have indicated the position paper for the group and a policy brief or the guideline of what had been written in the document. That is why I'm saying if there was a revision of that, it would have been good that it would have been communicated on time. Number two, just the same way you have requested us to formulate and figure out how we can get to Matuga, I believe the convincing of members about a cabinet memo for a few members, I believe can also be convinced. You've convinced 100 people to come to Matuga. I don't think having an issue convincing just for a few members because of a cabinet memo would be a challenge. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. I hear you. You're saying I should also. Okay,
but it
anyway,
is unfair. We've really been giving Daktari, surely. Imagine, we are so busy. We are parents, we are students, employees. This is a great sacrifice. And I wish the school can understand that we are really going out of our way to ensure we come to class, keep up, attend, come to Matuga. It's a lot of sacrifice. Please. You don't make us do an assignment twice.
Thank you for telling me, please, but I will have to consult somewhere. But anyway, I believe it will be accepted, especially if it's a critical number. But anyway, just don't worry. Wacha nitaifuata. Ikinishinda, maybe I'll get back to you niwaambie nimeshindwa, but I think it will be okay. I would like to know, maybe you can text me directly in my phone number to you just tell me you have done a cabinet memo so that maybe I can know the numbers.
Or we can do a poll on the group. Which one?
Yeah, a poll would also be a good one. It would also be a good one. It would also be a good one. So having said that, I think that's an issue we have to handle as we go on. So leave me with that homework of getting to know exactly where we are going. I know that's a question that somebody asked, but should there be, because I know that we were told that we can there will be a pickup from SGR, probably the airport. I have not heard about it, but I think it's also something I'll need to follow up. But maybe by that time, whoever will be picking you will know whether you are going to Matuga or to Mombasa. But I'll be able to confirm that very soon.
Daktari, it's also important
Yes.
that we know, so that we know, for us who are taking flights, are we now changing from Diani to Mombasa, or will we now again have to cross over the ferry? You know, because it's
Yes.
easier to use Ukunda,
Yeah.
to Matuga than Moi.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
And the flights are getting very expensive. The bookings, inakuwa a
Yes.
bit of a problem. That's why we are asking that we get that confirmation na mapema.
Okay, neat. I will ask for it and get it. I'm actually following up on it.
Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome.
Mr. Muraga, I think the people who do planning for KSG need to really up their game. I think
Yes.
it's getting extremely inconveniencing and embarrassing even for that institution. We have been thinking of it in high regard, but the level of confusion is a bit too much to handle.
I agree with you, but I would also
Dr. Mirara, can I comment something?
Yes.
Yes, on the issue of how are you, Daktari?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, on the issue of whether it is Matuga or Mombasa, some of us have already made arrangements on how they travel from our workstations to Matuga. So the moment now you decide to change from Matuga to Mombasa, you're going to inconvenience us. Yes, kindly. Thank you.
What I know is that some of those issues, when we get there, they'll become clearer and it will be easy. Even if you probably are in Mombasa and you find yourself in Diani, we'll still find a way to get you to Mombasa. However,
for us who want to stay outside the institution, Mwalimu, not everyone will be staying in school. So it is also important that we know, so that are we booking accommodation in Diani? Are we booking in Mombasa?
Yeah, nimekwambia, I will tell you in good time. And I'm following up.
Not everyone will be staying in school also. I think the school also needs to have that at the back of their minds.
Yeah. Although I would urge you to stay in school. Ukae na wale wengine, you bond, you work together. But anyway, everyone has the right
Some of us
to
will be on holiday with their families.
Yeah, I understand. Now, about the changes, maybe I did not tell you this, but there are new directives that came from Public Service Commission that have led to these changes that you are seeing. And some of them came at a point where we had made certain arrangements, which we also have to keep changing. So that's why you find us, we are still working in such a way that there are a lot of things that we are correcting here and there. But what I would say is that it's also good to be a first group in such an experience, because you provide a lot of learning. And me, I believe that sometimes when you're also in such situations, that's when we also learn a few things here and there. So I believe that the next group things will be very smooth and everything will flow easy. Okay, so leave me with that assignment. Before long, I should be able to tell you. In fact, I'm going to call right after this. I'm going to call the person at Matuga to tell me the arrangement so that I can give you the feedback as soon as possible.
Dr. Mirara?
Yes.
We're still discussing Matuga at this point, surely. I thought it was confirmed.
A question came this morning because there's a group that is in Mombasa and some of us were supposed to join Mombasa, but they were not sure. That's where now the issue of whether it's Mombasa or Matuga came up. And since there's that question, it becomes important for us to confirm. So that's how things are. So as we said, allow me to stop there. Over to Madam President. Just work on handing over your assignment. Maybe we shall organize a meeting so that we can listen to the presentations and the new ideas. Please come ready to think, because I think in terms of policy development and thinking ahead, if you want us to become better than the, probably this is where we can get the ideas and set people's trains of thought. And I know there's going to be so, thank you very much for being my good students, despite the challenges. I'm hoping that we shall finish this very well, and probably by the end of the program, we shall all be happy. I want to hand over to Madam President for direction, and have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Mirara. We appreciate. So we have all had the instructions. Kindly let us follow them. I don't think I have much because you have already been guided by Daktari. And if you have any other question, maybe you can write to him privately. You can also ask me and I can follow it up for you. Thank you so much. Maureen, please take over.
Yes.
No, Ariet, yes, Ariet, take over, please.
Okay. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you for attending today's class. Let us have a word of prayer from Wanjiku Koni kindly.
Okay, let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Father, we come in your presence to thank you. We thank you this far we've come as a cohort. We thank you for Dr. Mirara. We thank you for our president. As they continue guiding us, may they have wisdom that God comes from you. As we head to Matuga, Mombasa, God, we pray for safety of all of us. And for now, as we disperse to our different places, God be with us. In the name of you, God, that we pray, trusting and believing. Amen.
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 Thank you, readers. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. We keep on checking the WhatsApp for any communication. Thank you.
Madam President.
Yes, I had almost left, yes. Hello. There was a question for me.
Now that Madam President, may I have a comment? Okay, thankfully we are coming to an end of it, but in the next cohort, I think communication is very disconnected because you can't keep on issuing instructions at this point, and we have people out of town, so and they need what to be action to be done the following day. Yeah, so I think going forward, we really need to work on that.
We have a big issue, but I understand some of these changes. We are the cohort that have been met by these changes from cabinet. It was a cabinet direction, policy decision. So it's kind of they're implementing everything with us, and it has caused a lot of anxiety, a lot of I don't know. The only thing I said is that this is something all of us wanted to clear in 2025. So tutavumilia tu tumalize. Na tushamaliza by the way.
Assuming you've booked a flight to Diani, Alafu now there are changes again. Mara hata maybe this thing will be held in Nairobi. At this rate, hata tutakuwa lower capital.
I'm wondering tunatoa mambo ya
Exactly
Mombasa
my
wapi? Si
question.
tulimalizana na Matuga na tukakubali.
Mimi hata hiyo ndio imeniamsha. Mimi Matuga
Nimeisikia saa hii nikastuka pia mimi.
Hata mimi I'm wondering Mombasa iliingilia wapi? I thought I missed a class.
No, you did not. You did not. Even this one for policy paper and cabinet memo. I was in class throughout. I didn't hear about it.
He did not discuss about it. In fact, he talked of either policy brief, policy note, and a cabinet memo.
Yes, and then I requested if he has some, he can send us a Mwakenya. You remember
Samples,
when I said, yes,
Mm.
samples. So I
Yes,
don't
he
remember
said
them. Yeah. So I don't know. There's a
he
lot
has
of,
changed, but there's a lot
Mm.
of confusion.
Anyway, it's okay. I hope all of us are at 98% now with our work. So see you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.